All right, here we go, having some lunch. What do we got here today? All right, got 4 pasture raised eggs, cooked over easy. Yolk is still a little bit runny, okay? We like that. Beef liver cooked in beef tallow, mushrooms, and then fried plantains and coconut oil. Cooked the eggs within butter. So everything here, saturated fats, quality carbohydrates. Now this is a bit of a higher fat meal for me, but really I'm typically having lean protein sources. So maybe that's yogurt, cottage cheese, shrimp, non-fat milk. Those are a lot of my protein sources. And then I'll make sure my fat is saturated. So really trying to have quality cholesterol to improve hormone function. My latest blood labs actually had low cholesterol. So want to actually boost that up a little bit, and that's from having low thyroid function, which we're working to improve right now. But I'm starting to increase more fat to improve the cholesterol hormone profile. But the interesting thing is, right, I have to figure out how to get so much food in. I'm eating nearly 4,000 calories on training days, so that's 4 days a week. The training is not very difficult, not very intense per se. Still, I'm working my way back from a fairly difficult autoimmune disease where I was basically incapacitated from training or doing much at all for a good 6 to 8 weeks, and that's happened on and off the past few years. Finally getting that addressed by taking a thyroid hormone. But either way, eating a lot of food right now and increasing the fat content via saturated fat has helped. The biggest thing, right, there's some misconceptions right now, and I don't feel like I've spoken a lot the past, I don't know, month or two about what I've been learning, right? I spent a lot of time just learning. When I have time or energy, I want to learn. So biggest things, I mean, first and foremost, stop taking fish oil. You don't need to take fish oil. It is it's a scam in a sense of it is a waste byproduct from fish heads, fish skins, and other things that is then being marketed to you as anti-inflammatory when it is not useful. It is a polyunsaturated fat. The studies deeming it essential are not very helpful. So I wouldn't recommend having fish oil. Obviously, hopefully you know by now, seed oils, but really omega-6 linoleic acids are something that you want to avoid best you can. Why? Well, these things are going to slow down metabolism. So you might think, wow, Jack, you're 6'3", you're about 225 to 230, and you're eating damn near 4,000 calories a day, and you're exercising 45 minutes at a RPE or intensity of a 4 to 6 out of 10, so not very difficult, eating a crap ton, and I'm in a deficit, right? The past week, lost between 4 to 5 pounds. So I'm almost have to increase food again, but I'm hopefully will stabilize a little bit, aiming for about 1.5 pounds to 3 pounds a week in a deficit. Now that I'm taking thyroid hormone, replacing which I don't have because my thyroid is fibrotic. It does not work. It does not produce any hormone. So slowly working my way back, but eating an intense amount of food for a long time. Okay, I was maintaining at about 200 grams of protein a day, 6 to 800 grams of carbs, and 60 grams of fat. So extremely high carbohydrate diet. Now starting to increase fats a little bit, up to about 80 grams per day. So what foods am I having every day now that I am improving metabolism, right? I'm eating more than most people who weigh 250 pounds plus, and I'm lighter than them, doing less activity, right? That's the common paradigm. I just posted about that on Instagram today, but it's the eat less, move more. If we do that and we're fasting all the time, and our adrenaline and our cortisol is constantly increasing, we're using muscle for energy, our metabolism dies down, we have less energy, we then burn less calories, we then become less human. We have less energy. We want to have energy as human. That's one of the core fundamental beliefs that I've continued to learn and feel, especially as I improve my metabolism and thyroid just a little bit, right? I'm just inching my way up back to health. But these are just some insights from being at an extremely unhealthy, feeling extremely ill while still eating really well, right? Doing the best I could, but going to hospital consistently for health issues. Not fun, but it's a great learning experience that I hopefully can pass on to other people. So it does not always have to be eat less, move more, right? Something that's so interesting, I'm gonna take a few bites here. Sleep. I mean, the cool thing I'll do with a lot of my clients, really with all my clients, is I will track how much we're sleeping, right? Just approximately. Okay, you slept 6 hours last night, your weight didn't change. You slept 8 hours last night, you're down a pound. And that is seen across the board, from people who weigh 140 pounds to people who weigh 350 pounds, all in between. If you're getting 7.5 plus hours of sleep, you're going to be losing weight. That's when we want to be burning body fat, is during sleep. We don't want to necessarily be burning body fat during cardio. So do I have a lot of clients doing excessive amounts of cardio? No. I really don't think you need to do weight training more than 3 to 4 times a week. You know, I think 3 days a week's great. I think 4 days a week's great. I think anything more than that might be overkill, to be honest, especially weight training. The longer I've been learning and alive, right, I think if we're having other activity, go hiking, go play a sport. Even for cardiovascular activity, I always say sport of choice when I'm creating workouts for guys, right? Rather than doing a stair step or things like that, go play a sport, shoot hoops. If it's snowing out, go ski. But critical there. Another thing, right? Eating 3,800 calories a day, intra-training can be a really helpful window for you to get nutrients in. So of course we want to avoid polyunsaturated fats to reduce. We want to have our metabolism being primed up, right? There's studies where you're having PUFAs, polyunsaturated fats, omega-6, even fats from like chicken or eggs that aren't pasture raised. I mean, those are omega-3s, omega-6s, polyunsaturated fats. Any of these processed oils, like the whole protein industry, also learning is BS, right? The whole industry that you need to just be having 1 million grams of protein a day. When you look at diets 100 years ago, you don't. And that's kind of what I've stepped back to. A lot of days I'm having less than 200 grams, maybe 150 to 170 for grams of protein. Feel great. For carbohydrates, we want, I think sugar, carbohydrates are ideal. So fruit, man, it digests so smoothly, and that's another massive thing for weight loss. And these are just some insights I've gained. Right, slowly coming back from an autoimmune disease, which knocks out so many people, including myself, for an extended period of time. But, you know, it's sugar and fruit, they digest so much smoother. And that's a massive thing I'll have clients do is, hey, you know, let's reduce down our potatoes or our rice or other things, you know, our quality starchy carbs, and let's just add in some more fruit that you like. I mean, orange juice is a great one, but fruit is so much micronutrients. It's not just sugar. A lot of these micronutrients it has way more of than, say, rice or, say, sourdough. So using those as your basically multivitamin, having a lot of fruit and driving that up is going to help improve your metabolism. I mean, I think I'm 1,500 calories in for the day. I've hit every single B vitamin. I'm close to hitting magnesium. I hit calcium already, hit potassium of these daily values. Now I'm going vitamin A. I'm typically going significantly over. Calcium, 300-400% daily value. Vitamin A, 300-400% daily value. Magnesium, at least 100. Obviously the B vitamins I'm hitting all day. Liver, smoking that. But nutrition also doesn't have to be overcomplicated, right? Made some eggs, some liver, some mushrooms, some plantains, right? It's not anything crazy here. It might seem a bit out of the ordinary, but damn, it tastes good. Very easy to make. This took me 5 minutes to make. Sliced it up, put it on the pan, very easy. So I think those are some common misconceptions. Just wanted to have a little lunch-side chat. Fruit juice, I mean, especially orange juice. The biggest indicator for me or way to improve the metabolism, right, pull down the protein a little bit. A really high protein diet can actually suppress thyroid function. So your thyroid is the regulator of your metabolism. Really important. There's a lot of nuance behind that, but we don't need incredibly high amounts of protein. I think that's a common thing where there's these certain misconceptions within the health industry. Remember, the health industry is one of profit. So of course, right, they want to make money. So if all these influencers have to preach the importance of protein because they also have discount codes for protein powders. we're thinking more quality protein, meaning it has micronutrients in it, like calcium. That's why milk's so important. Parmesan cheese, eggs. These micronutrients is what feeds our metabolism. Now, just skyrocketing protein, especially processed protein that has canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, linoleic acid, xanthan gum, guar gum, locust gum, all these gums and oils, those are just going to slow down your metabolism significantly. So yeah, you hit your macros, but now you got to eat 1,800 calories. Like, what? That sounds terrible. I have ice cream every day. I have Haagen-Dazs ice cream every day. Mexican Coca-Cola. I add sugar to my coffee. I add maple syrup. I'm eating more than a pound of honey a week, more than a pound of maple syrup a week, significantly more. A half pint of ice cream probably a daily, if not a little more. Right, and this isn't a deficit. This is losing weight. This is becoming more vascular, which I'll eventually show as I really drop down, getting back on medicine. But really seeing all of this and myself being in a significant deficit while eating a significant amount of food is consistent proof that it can be done differently than what's shown by most people. I think most people look in dieting and they feel stuck. They feel like, man, I'm disciplined, right? But I only can willpower my way to eating and feeling hungry or eating this boring ass food of 2,000 calories or less for 8 weeks. And after that, I go right back up. And they go right back up because they crash their metabolism. So then even if they eat healthy but more food, they're still getting fat. So there's another way to do it, right? They call this the bioenergetics space of Ray Peat or Danny Roddy, Georgie Dinkoff, Kate Deering, and many, many other smart people, which I'm lucky to learn from. And now I'm trying to really translate this to to the people looking to lose significant amount of weight, maybe without using GLPs, and former athletes who have a lot of muscle, so inherently have a quality metabolism underlying, right? We might have to dig that thing out and really, almost you got to feed your way back up to a quality metabolism, eliminate the foods that are really crappy, and then build it in from there, right? But some of those things, sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, that's when you're burning body fat. That's when your body is preferentially burning body fat. So if we're trying to do 2 hours of cardio a day, or working out, or eating boring ass chicken, but you can't, sleep more than 6 hours because you're doing all that, priorities are off. Meals can be very simple, right? You can track them in Chronometer. It doesn't have to be incredibly difficult. Avoiding those polyunsaturated fats, those omega-3s, omega-6s, which you can see in Chronometer if you're eating, right? So not having fish oil, salmon, things like that. Even fatty chicken, I don't recommend that. Some pasture-raised eggs, quality milk, whether it's raw or pasteurized, I think both are really good. Both are going to give you a lot of micronutrients. Obviously, raw is a different nutrient profile, but now everyone has access to that. So you do the best you can. Grass-fed, grass-finished beef, that's a great option as well. Liver, oysters, shrimp, whitefish, yogurt. Also, another big sleeper is gelatin and collagen. Can't tell you how many people I've had, from fighters to athletes to just regular people, working a regular job, eating collagen and feeling significantly improved from that. That's something I add consistently to my coffee, yogurt, cottage cheese, things like that. Also, having just a few staple quality meals that this is when in doubt, I got this ready. When in doubt, I can make 4 eggs and some rice, or I have potatoes ready, or I bake 6 to 8 potatoes and have them in the fridge, or I have rice ready, or I have, plantains or whatever it may be, cooked apples or things like that. An interesting thing too about some carbohydrates is cooking them will help improve digestibility. So everyone's obsessed with, I gotta bomb my body with fiber. I'm gonna feel all bloated and then take a massive dump. I haven't found that to be very helpful. With the thyroid issue, my digestion is very much slowed down for the past few years. Got the colonoscopy, the gas, saw the GI doctors and all that. Got the gut maps, had all these infections and terrible things. But adding and bombing fiber into the body is not helpful. Improving the metabolism, having the body function more, just better, feeling warm, that led to more quality bathroom visits. So those are some things that I think could really be helpful when it comes to training, right? 3 to 4 days a week, either a push-pull leg, a upper-lower full, upper-lower, upper-lower, upper lower, upper, or like an upper lower, and then like a chest back, arm shoulders. Depends what you want to do, right? We don't need to, at least for me, I'm not looking to create a body of a bodybuilder, nor am I really helping people do that. We're thinking more Troy, Achilles, Brad Pitt, James Bond, Daniel Craig. The shoulder to waist ratio, that's really important for looking lean. That's what I'm talking about, the lean man, line man to lean man. How do we become lean? We improve metabolism so we can live life. If you're having alcohol, a cool thing to help detoxify is going to be charcoal that evening. Having fruit juice, so I always have tequila pineapple if I'm going out to a bar. I like wine, but if I'm going to a bar, tequila pineapple, I have the fruit juice literally mixed in with my drink. Taurine, B1, charcoal, or some things that can help with that throughout the holidays. Right, throughout the holidays, you can enjoy your meals, just try not to have the polyunsaturated fats. If you're having mashed potatoes with milk and butter and salt, great, that's fine. That's just you're having some quality saturated fats. Just be mindful of your fat ratio. Turkey, have some lean cuts of turkey, sweet potatoes, your stuffings, things like that. If you can have quality ingredients with your food, the nutrient quality of your nutrients, the quality of your environment, that is really what improves your energy, and that is what leads to a lean, healthy physique. So it's going to be a continual journey. I'm going to continue to really share more insights into this. Been really testing out some red light therapy, both face mask and red light panels a couple times a week. Really been enjoying sauna, but having carbohydrates while doing a sauna. So when I go train, I'm having at least 8 ounces of orange juice with about 5 to 10 grams of collagen and some sea salt. So while I'm training, I'm making sure I'm not going hypo. When I'm in the sauna and you get lightheaded, you're going hypoglycemic. Your body is like, holy shit, we don't have any carbs, we're out of liver glycogen, we need to start breaking down our muscle, we're gonna spike cortisol and adrenaline. Not good, we don't want that. So having adequate hydration with carbohydrates and salt, really important. Or even coconut oil, right? And hydrating is different than drinking water. Really completely different things. I was just talking to a lady at the red light therapy clinic today. She saw I had a Saratoga water. And I said, I drink less than a bottle of this a day. And I drink probably, overall liquid consumption, probably more than a gallon. I typically am peeing close, not even clear. You don't need to be clear. But I'm hydrated and have salt, have electrolytes, but coffee has a lot of, it has actually a good amount of electrolytes and different minerals in there, B1 and other minerals in coffee, magnesium, and then you're also going to see orange juice. I mean, I'm probably having a quart of orange juice a day, probably a quart of milk, and probably a quart of coffee, and maybe more than a quart of coffee sometimes, and maybe more than a quart of the other one. So that's 3 quarts, 3 liters, and then probably Mexican Coca-Cola, maybe a little bit of sparkling water, and then a ton of fruit every day, and that's the liquid consumption. Right, like yesterday I had 500 grams of grapes just as a snack. I don't know how many ounces of water that is, but a good amount of liquid, pineapple, other things. So having hydration in all those foods, the milk, the orange juice, even the coffee, and even Mexican Coca-Cola and the fruit, all have nutrients within it. Water, if we're just drinking it, it's not even remineralized. It probably has freaking plastics, BPA, which leads to autoimmune disease. We don't want that stuff. So really consider what your environment is, consider what you are taking in, right? I've been forced to do this through illness, right? Have this thing called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which I'm sure I'll cover more in the future, but leads to having tumors over the body, arthritis all over, a lot of other kind of crazy symptoms. It's not always for everybody who has it, but I've had it for probably over 15 years unaddressed, and finally over the past month starting some treatment on it. So we'll continue to help explain metabolism, thyroid health, and just how to lose weight without being miserable and without feeling stuck, because a lot of people give up because it's too hard, and it's not as hard as it seems. Initially, it takes some effort to really change your life and change the environment of your life, but once you're set up for success, you do it day in and day out, and it is well worth it. Living a mediocre life where you could be doing better, when your intuition tells you something that you're not doing, that's when that inner conflict comes, and depression and all of that. So of course, improving thyroid function will decrease depression. That's another cool study that we'll have to review in the future. So just getting back into creating some videos and sharing some ideas. Hope this finds you and is helpful for you. And I'll be back in the future. So enjoy your meals, enjoy your eggs and liver and mushrooms and plantains. Cook with saturated fats. Track your food initially, but don't be a robot. Enjoy life. Create a quality environment of people, of friends, of nature, of animals, and enjoy life. Do some grounding, do some stare at the sun. We're gonna try to improve our vision. Okay, I'm at a -3. The mission for a 2020 vision is another one in the future. So aim to get healthy and enjoy life. And the purpose of health is not to over obsess about health, but is to use your health to enjoy life, to have joy, to be grateful, to help others, and to do what you've been given. You know, everyone's given a God-given skill. So I pray that you may be able to figure out what that is, have that intuition, have that connection, and be able to use that to better or to do whatever you're called to do. So trust your calling, trust your intuition, and signing out. See ya.